Hey everybody, Void here, back with the next part of the VGen tutorial for artists series. This is part 2, is VGen right for you? Now the first question to ask is whether or not VGen supports your country. As you can see, they support so many countries. Currently, they have 149 different countries with 82 different currencies. Now, these are entirely based off of PayPal and Stripe Express, as those are the two payment processors that VGen currently offers. If your country is not supported, you can, of course, go into VGen's Discord and you can either request a payment processor that does support your country or upvote an existing request. Now, for the pros and cons of VGen. The pros are absolutely streamlines the process. It can help with discoverability. They have a great verification process that if you get verified, it helps clients feel safer in commissioning you. They have mediation for disputes between clients and artists, a fantastic dedicated team who always is working to improve the site, refund protection, and no AI. Now, the cons, I don't necessarily think all of these are cons, but let's just get into it. First of all, they have a 5% platform fee. Now, this may not be great for everybody. However, it is the lowest platform fee on the market, at least that I'm aware of. And so if you want to go use a platform, this is the cheapest you're going to see. 2, you need a code to get in. Now, I view this as both a pro and a con. It does, of course, make it difficult for people to get in, especially if you're just starting out. However, it does do wonders for helping ensure that VGen is as safe a platform as possible and that it's much more difficult for scammers and bad actors to get in. They also have a little bit of a problem with web page loading. There does tend to be a little bit of a delay. Personally, I haven't experienced too much of an issue with it, but I do know some people where the delay and lag can get a little bit frustrating. Their verified process can also be a little bit difficult for people, particularly if you are a newer artist, if you are only doing it very part-time, or if you're from a country where the living wage is much lower, because hitting that $100 in the past 30 days marker for verification is going to be more difficult. And then the setup for VGen can seem a little bit daunting for people who aren't used to using platforms, as it does have a lot of features, which is great, but again, can be a little bit overwhelming. Now, this here is just my personal opinion, but I think VGen is the best for artists with some experience, so not brand new, who need help managing and organizing comms, who maybe want to upgrade from DMs and want increased communication and potentially help with mediation. It may not work as well for people who are super new or inexperienced, or very popular artists with existing websites. Now, the new and inexperienced, it's because you may not be ready for or need all of the features that VGen has to offer yet. And so it can either be overwhelming or just might not be worth it for the 5% that they're taking off your commissions. And for really big artists with existing websites, they may not need to have a platform like this. And so again, the 5% might not be worth it if you're doing super well on your own already. And then also if you have super high or super low income, and by super low, I mean if you're taking commissions that are like sub $10, maybe. If you're taking a lot of commissions that are below $5 each, I would say definitely a platform is maybe not the best way for you. And the reason for this is that payment processors take a percentage plus a fixed fee. So it's not just a percentage, it's also a set amount of cents. And then on top of that, there's VGen's 5% fee. And so once you get into those like $1, $2, $3 commissions, that fixed amount that's added on is a quite a large percentage of what you're getting paid. For example, if I charge $1 for something, I tend to end up with less than 50 cents between VGen and the payment processor. And then if you're making a lot of income, it may not be worth it because the fees are going to stack up with the 5%. And if you're already making, 5+ figures on art, I don't know that you necessarily need a platform, period, unless you just really want the better management. Now, I want to go over account types to help artists understand what the process is and what account type is going to be best for you. There are 4 types: guest, client, artist, and verified artist. Now, guest accounts technically don't need a sign up, but they are kind of a type of account, so let's go over it. Both guests and clients can commission an artist and leave a review for that artist. However, guests cannot get a review from the artist they commission. With client accounts, the artist they commission will leave a review for them on whether or not they liked working with them. Guests can apply for artist codes, but only some methods. Some methods of getting an artist code requires a client account. So I would recommend getting the client account. If you are looking to become a VGen artist, it'll give you access to all methods of obtaining a code. And guests can also not like showcases or follow artists. For artist accounts, Unverified has a limit of 5 services and 20 showcases, whereas Verified has unlimited services and showcases. Now, I will note the 20 showcases is specifically about what's listed in your Showcases tab. You are also able to upload separately examples into the service listing, and that is not part of your Showcases limit, so it's not just 20 pieces of art, period. You can upload much more than that. They both have access to PayPal and Stripe, and they both default in search. However, only Verified defaults in Discovery, has access to invite codes to give to other artists, and currently early access to the shop, but we don't know how this will change. Now, I do want to go over what I mean when I say default in search versus default in discovery. All right, so I'm just going to pull this up really quick. And this is what we call the discovery page. This is basically just a random assortment of showcases that have been uploaded. There is a little bit of an algorithm, but there is definitely a pretty significant aspect of randomness. As you can see here, it's defaulted to verified. However, any method of search is not defaulted to verified. So if we search up YCH and we click here on this Artist Plus details, as you can see, it does not default to verified. Everybody can show up here. And if we go back to the main page, and if we want to use their search categories, like if we go into character illustrations, we go here, and again, you can see it is not defaulted to verified. So I don't think that it makes that big of a difference, considering most people are going to be coming on here wanting to search for specific things, and in that case, you will still be searchable even if you're unverified. What about group accounts? VGen does allow group accounts, but they have a couple requirements. 1, you have to list all of the artists who are on the group account. 2, you have to disclose the type of account, agency, studio, etc. 3, you have to give proper credit to whoever worked on what. And 4, all members share accountability. And what this just means is that you can't ever say, oh, it wasn't me who broke VGen's TOS or didn't follow up with a client or whatever. It was this other guy. They don't allow that. If it's a shared account, everyone is equally responsible for any action taken by an individual. And so with that being said, if you want to open up a group account, just be really aware of the people you're working with. And I'd honestly say maybe get some positive work history with that person first before trying to open up a group account together. And that is everything for the overview of Is VGen Right for You? Next up, we're going to be covering part 3, signing up and getting a code. That video is going to be a little bit more robust because I'm also going to be including a lot of tips for artists if you are having a hard time getting a code. If you have any specific questions about getting a code or signing up that you want covered in that one, please absolutely leave a comment in the comment section and I will do my best to get to it. See you next time.